Subaru is of course most famous for two things: all-wheel drive and making people think they're an Australian brand.
That's my Subaru Outback. World's first sport utility wagon.
But really, all-wheel drive and boxer engines form the identity of Subaru. Today we just got some juicy rumors of some upcoming turbo Subaru engines that will replace their existing offerings. And in today's video, we'll discuss these new turbo boxer engines, see which models they might be dropped into, and discuss where Subaru is going with a little electrification as well. Welcome back, Luxurious Fleet. If you're new here, my name is Kirk, and this channel is dedicated to covering the latest in Japanese autos. So subscribe, hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of my upcoming videos on vehicles from the land of the rising sun. Okay, getting straight into the juice here, heading over to Japanese website carsensor.net. And as always, guys, with any rumors, please take your salt shakers with you on this. So they're talking about the WRX and the STI with the 2.4 liter turbo, the FA24F. We'll talk more about that as we go. So gone is the EJ. Sad times for a lot of you Subi fans out there. But Subaru plans to make 80% of the global production downsized to turbocharged engines by 2021. Guys, that's next year already. What the heck? Currently, 3 types of turbo engines are scheduled to be set. The first is a 2.4 liter direct injection turbo that is installed in the Ascent. And of course, we have it here in the States, but this is a Japanese website. They're like, oh yeah, it's exclusive in the United States. Well, and Canada, right? Don't forget the Canucks. And the 7th generation Legacy and Legacy Outback, which apparently they don't get in Japan. They don't get the Outback there. The second version is a 1.8 liter direct injection turbo that will be installed in the next Levorg. The Levorg is like a legacy wagon. It looks really, really cool. It kind of reminds me of the Corolla Sport Touring, but they get that, I believe, in Europe and maybe other parts of the world, but I know for sure they get the Levorg. It reminds me of Cyborg, but I'm sure they get that in Europe. And the third is a tiny 1.5 liter direct injection turbo that replaces the current 2 liter naturally aspirated. Hey guys, smash the like button. That helps my channel out so much. And maybe if we get enough likes, it will bring these turbo engines to the global lineup for Subaru. And of course we know, well, if you guys been keeping up on the rumors, we know the WRX and STI are going to be sharing the 2.4 liter, the FA24F turbocharged that we see in the Ascent. They will be getting a higher output version of that. So we're going to break it down. We're going to head over to the state-of-the-art spreadsheet that I put together today, breaking down the engines that are currently or at least recently seen in the Subaru lineup and where I think they're going with these turbocharged engines, if it happens to be true, right? Hopefully you got your, I didn't bring my salt shakers. I'll just shake this FJ Cruiser while I'm at it. I need to get some Subaru models up in here, right? So the red here are engines that are currently in production or recently have been discontinued. And the blue here is, well, the FA24F is there. It's one of the newer engines. And then with those other 2 that I mentioned earlier. So let's just start with this Ascent engine that we also see in the higher spec Outbacks here, the FA24F. It has 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. But as you guys can see here, if they're going to be putting this in a WRX and STI, they're going to be boosting these numbers. I've read all sorts of things from as high as 400, but I'm going to be a little bit more conservative, and I'm going to say 350 horsepower for a high output version. That still might be a little over the top, but hey, I think it's possible with this new engine. Apparently it can handle a lot of boost. Up to 370 pound-feet of torque. Vehicles we see this in, well, we see it in the Ascent, we see it in the Outback, and then of course we would see it in the WRX and the STI in different variations. And this 1.8 liter turbo, this is just a guess. All these numbers are a guess here, but I think it's reasonable to expect it to have about 215 horsepower and close to about the same amount of pound-feet of torque. And the vehicles we're going to see it in is going to be the Outback, the higher levels Crosstrek, the Impreza, at least the higher ends of the Impreza as well, the Legacy, and the Forester. And rounding out the trio of these turbocharged engines, they said 80%. That's crazy. I mean, gosh, that's crazy. All right, 1.5 liter, up to 185 horsepower and 180 pound-feet of torque. Where'd I get those numbers? Well, Honda has a 1.5 liter that we see in the base Accord, but the Crosstrek would potentially get this engine maybe as a replacement of its naturally aspirated 2 liter. We would see it, of course, in the Legacy and the Forester as well. but who knows, maybe they could do more with it. I just feel like these two engines here are pretty darn close in power, so either the 1.5 liter might scale down a little bit in power, and the 1.8 might scale a little bit up in power. That has yet to be seen, and we have yet to get confirmation of these engines anyways. So, but what about these red engines that are either still in production or going to be discontinued or were recently discontinued? Let's go backwards. Let's start with the EZ35D. It was a 6-cylinder boxer engine. I've driven this a couple times in a few Outbacks, and it's all right. It's not bad. It's got 256 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. We saw it in the Legacy, the Outback, and the Tribeca. Rest in peace, Tribeca. The EJ257 we saw in the STI. Well, we know that's going to be completely replaced by the FA25F. These power ranges are depending on the market, so that would either be the United States or the Japanese market. For the STI, the power numbers did vary there just a little bit. So that's what those ranges are for. FA20F, these ranges are also for the different markets. These numbers on the left here are for the North American WRX, and the numbers on the right are for the Japanese STI variant of it, to my knowledge. And we take that turbo off the FA20F and we get 200 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. This engine is going to be discontinued, or at least that's my feeling of it. I've made tons of videos on the BRZ and the 8.6, and this is more than likely going to be replaced with a non-turbo version of the FA24F, so FA24. And I think that is going to be in the upcoming BRZ and the upcoming Toyota 8.6. So 2.5 liter FB25 producing 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque. It's a brand new engine for the company. It's only been out for a year or two. We see it in the Forester, we see it in the Legacy, we see it in the Outback, and it's rumored to be coming in the 2021 Crosstrek. So I don't believe this engine is going anywhere anytime soon. So it's like, shoot, well, if they're not getting rid of that and they're not getting rid of this 2-liter FB20, what I'm going to go over in a second, how are they going to get 80% turbos by 2021? I mean, that's next year. I don't know. I don't know if they'll be able to meet those numbers. Those numbers are not going to exist here in the States, I don't believe. Maybe it's in Europe and Asia that they're able to get those turbos out. We'll see. And last but not least, the 2-liter FB20 series, 152 horsepower, 145 pound-feet of torque. You see it in the Crosstrek, you see it in the Apreza, and I don't see this engine going anywhere anytime soon. This is their only engine that they use with hybrid setups. They use it technically they use it in a Forester, I believe in other markets, maybe Europe, Australia. They call it an e-boxer. And here in the States, we see it as a Crosstrek and as a plug-in hybrid. So it doesn't get a whole lot of range. I think it's only like 18 miles of range or something, but it's pretty cool. And they use that plug-in hybrid technology. They steal it from Toyota, which Toyota owns a large part of Subaru. Gosh, what is it, 20%? So of course they're gonna use Toyota's hybrid technology when they get a chance to. Speaking of hybrids, what is the plan? Well, I think they could hybridize a naturally aspirated version of the 2.4 liter FA24, but that has yet to be seen. And like I said, I feel like they're going to start doing plug-in hybrids with this 2-liter FB20. Maybe they can put larger electric motors in there to give it a little bit more power. But Subaru really has been fairly hush about electrification in their lineup. However, asterisks to that, and that is their fully battery electric plan. I think Subaru might be more likely to jump past hybrids. I'll dabble a little bit into plug-in hybrids, maybe skip those altogether, that hybrid business, and get straight into electrified options. And I'm sure a lot of you guys would like that. So many people comment on the channel, no one wants ICE engines anymore. Hybrids are stupid. Just give me electric cars. Like every single day I see it in the channel, and I understand. I want electric cars too, but they will come in due time when they make sense for these companies to produce them. And they're expensive right now, let's be real. They're not cheap. So what is their battery electric plan? Well, it's called the eTNGA platform. They have been developing with Toyota, and it's very, very promising. It's very modular, it's very plug and play. Tons of different battery packs they can slot in there. They have different motors. It's really like Legos. That's how simple it is. I know Tesla's like that in a little bit of ways, but think of multiple companies, definitely Toyota, definitely Subaru, maybe even Mazda chipping in on this eTNGA modular electrified skateboard platform. And it's super, super simple. I'm sure you guys have seen the pictures I've already put up on it, but who knows when that'll be out. I'm gonna say 2023, maybe as a 2024 model year, we're gonna see a crossover shared from Subaru and Toyota, maybe even a Lexus, who knows. Lexus might come out first, but the rate Lexus is going, guys, goodness gracious, I don't want to get off on a tangent now, do I? But yeah, I'm excited for Subaru, if they are definitely coming out with these, this lineup, this sisterhood, these three sisters of turbo engines. I don't know why they're sisters, but I felt like, I don't know. Please bring them to market. It would be fun. We'd like to have some more excitement into the Subaru brand. What do you guys think? Do you think they're gonna bring out these turbo engines? All of them. Do you think they're going to still dabble a little bit in hybrids, or do you think they're just like, screw it, let's go all in, chips all in, or at least go all in turbos and have all in over here with electrified, fully battery electric options, and just skip that hybrid in between? What do you guys think? Do you think they're gonna do that? That's what I think, but I'd be happy to hear you guys disagree with that. But thank you guys so much. If you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and do it, and I'll see you in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.